Hi, my name is Ben. You're watching Image Talk. This video is meant for English beginners, and today I will be talking about 5 different images. If you need, there are subtitles available below, and the entire transcript is on benslanguagelab.com. All you should do is watch, listen, and enjoy. We're going to start with this image. This is a strange image. It's kind of weird. What is it? There's a lot of different parts. There's this weird orange thing with white spots. There's white spots all over it. There's this big crazy octopus in the middle. It has a head here. And then there are these leg-like things. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 behind, maybe 7, and then number 8 back there. There's a bunch of these legs that they sort of look like, but I don't really know what they are. There's also a bunch of upside down button half ball things, right? These are just strange little things. This one's kind of orange, yellow. There's some white ones here and here. And then there's this thing above, which is like a swirly, turny thing. I don't really know what to call it, but it's got a bunch of different colors. Like a rainbow. Here we see green, light green, yellow, orange, also orange, red. And then there's just a bunch of weird things. This behind is another strange object. I chose this image because it was so colorful and weird. And I don't know, it's odd. We can also talk about the rainbow, though. The rainbow, which is these sort of colors, and we typically see a rainbow sort of like this, red, and then we see orange, yellow, green, right? This is a rainbow, that thing, when they're all the different colors together, we call it a rainbow. And we see all the different colors. Here we have red, or here, let's do it like this. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, kind of indigo, violet. And those are the different colors of the rainbow. And there's a way to remember the colors of the rainbow. If you want to remember the colors in English, you can remember the name Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv, because you have red, orange, that's an E, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Indigo is this sort of bluish purple, right? So sort of this one right here, that color. It's got sort of in this range-ish, somewhere around here. And then a violet is basically purple. It's a purpley, darker one. And so those are the colors of the rainbow. Roy G. Biv. It's kind of hard to see his name. And there's a song that goes with it, but we'll move on for now. Here's the second image we're going to talk about today. And this is a very fantasy, interesting image. It's not real, right? This girl is too tall. She's very large compared to this house. The house is very small, right? If the girl is half the height of the house, that means that it's a small house. But this can exist in our minds or in a picture. Maybe there's some little small creature that lives inside the house. This is the house of a small creature. And we see that the girl is standing on the ledge. Here is the edge of the cliff. And so we call this a ledge, because if she went this way, she'd fall off all the way down. So this is a cliff edge or a ledge. We also see down here there's some trees, right? Some trees. There's some trees down here, which means that there's probably more land. This is land, and there's probably more down there. We also see a little fence here. This fence is protecting the edge so that somebody doesn't fall off on accident. And then we also see this girl who's looking at this house. The house has some windows. Here are the windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one there. There's a bunch of windows on the house that are lit. There's a light inside the house, which means this is yellow. That's a light turned on. Right, here's a light. A light on, light off. We also see on the house there's another little tree that has what looks to be some other little lights on it, right? There's other little lights there. We see a flag up here, maybe a second one. Flag that blows in the wind, right? That's a flag. That's not a very beautiful flag, but that's a flag. And we see the moon as well, I think. I think that's the moon. The moon is the big thing in the sky. If you do it like this, there's the crescent moon. You might see the man in the moon, like that. And we see this sort of, it's night time. It's not day, it's night. It's dark outside. We see stars and other lights in the sky. And then down here we can see some trees and other life and that sort of thing. I wonder where this is. I don't know. Let's go on to the next image, though. I think we've looked at this one enough. And here we have one of what looks to be a lamb. This is a lamb, a baby sheep. Right, a sheep is the large animal, an adult, the mother or the father. Actually, a sheep is the mother. So sheep is the creature. Sheep. Then we have the mom is a ewe. The dad is a ram. And the baby, which is this one, is a lamb. I don't have enough space. Lamb. L-A-M-B. But we say lamb. So this is a lamb, a baby sheep. And we see that the lamb is covered with flowers, with daisies. These are all individual daisy flowers. 1, 2, there's so many of them. And there's even a little daisy crown. A crown that goes on the lamb's head is also there. And the lamb seems to be in some kind of picture, right? There's a border around the edge of the picture, just like I have here. This is a border. There's a border on this picture. That's all this. We also see down here there's more daisies growing. They're growing up from the ground. And we see some packages, some boxes, some regular just cardboard boxes. This material is called cardboard. These are sticky notes. These are made of paper. But a box, this is a box. This is made of cardboard, is what we call it. Cardboard. And so here we have some cardboard boxes in front of the lamb. Right, they're in the front of the lamb. I don't know why. Why does the lamb have boxes? That's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure. This picture also looks like it's a little bit older, right? We see some things on it, right? Here's like a scratch. Here's some other random things on the picture, some little bits here and there to make it look older instead of young, right? This is a baby, so it's a young animal, but the picture looks sort of old. There's pieces here, and it looks like it's been around for a while. Somebody has owned it for many years. We also see that the lamb has its ears out to the side. There's ears on the side. We can see its little tail. And it has 4 hooves. Hooves, that's a good word. Hooves. And the singular is 1 hoof. So here's 1 hoof, 2 hoof, 3. But then we have them together. They're all called hooves. There's its little nose, its little mouth. And that's really all there is to a lamb on this picture. So I think we'll go on to the next picture now. This is a picture of a bedroom, a normal, regular bedroom in gray colors. It's not in gray scale. Gray scale is when everything is in gray or white or black. But we can see here there is something in gold. So they actually, and there's like some green outside. So this is a picture of what it would look like if your entire room is done in gray. The walls are gray, the blanket is gray, the sheets are white, the carpet is gray and white. There's a bunch of pillows, right? We have one white, gray, gray, and there's a throw pillow. That's this one. A throw pillow is a smaller decorative pillow. That's also in gray. On the wall, we see pictures that are in grayscale. This picture is in grayscale. This one's in grayscale as well because they're of like trees or clouds, and then they're made to be gray and black and white. We also see that the lamps, the side table lamps, are white with a little bit of gold, right? That's interesting. So this is the gold color. Let's see if I can grab it. Yeah, sort of this goldish color. It's not really gold, but that's what we got. And the side table drawers as well. So these are the side tables, are also white to match with all of the colors. The curtains as well. So here are the curtains that you can pull across the windows to close them and to block out the light. When you want there to be no light, like I have here, this is my curtain. I pulled it down to block the light. And so you'd pull this curtain over to the side to block the light from outside, right? If it would look like that, so you don't see anything. Because the light from outside is coming through the window to light things. That's why we have shadows here. This is a shadow. There's shadows on the ground. It's darker. That's the shadow. And outside, we can see that there's like a building here. There's some trees. And it looks like there might be a balcony. A balcony is where you can go outside. So it looks like right here, there might be a door that you can open. Open the door, you go outside, and you can stand outside of this room. So you could stand out here and then look out, right? You could see more. This looks to be like a balcony. Right here we see the railing where you can like rest your hands so you don't fall down. It's sort of like a fence, sort of like this outside. Oh, here's a balcony. This is a balcony, right? You can come outside of the house and be on the balcony and then look out. And so that's what this looks like. Looks like there's also a balcony here. That's really all that I see in this picture. There's not too much more. So I think we'll go on to the last picture for today, which is this beautiful art of a peacock. This is a peacock, is what we call it. They have very colorful feathers. These are their feathers, right? A feather is sort of this piece of a bird, right? So each one of these is a feather. Feather, 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 feather. and they're very colorful. We have blue and red and green and all these different colors to make a beautiful bird. These down here are also more feathers. These usually can come upwards to sort of make like a fan of on the peacock. We might also call this a plumage. That's a good word. Plumage. Or a plume is plume, M-E, is another way you can call it. Not a very common word, but you can say that. In the background, we see that there's mountains, these big mountains. Here we see the sun setting, probably. When the sun rises is when it comes in the morning. The sun comes up, and then it goes down is when it sets. The sun is setting. We also see that there's this whole, what looks to be like a valley down here, because there's more mountains right here. This is all mountains. Here's some trees with beautiful red leaves. And then down here, it looks to be a valley. A valley is this low point between mountains, right? So here we're up high. We're on like a hill here, and there's another hill here. And so it looks like we're looking down into this valley where there's this swirling light. This is this swirling light. And it looks like you can go through here once you're down there. So a person would be very small, right? They could be like this big. Here's a person. Maybe that's you. There you are. That's you. And you can go out here and into this open area, which looks to be covered in some kind of clouds or something like that. Here we also see this more crazy colors. And this looks to be some sort of explosion, or there's some kind of spirit or something like that is leaving this forest, because we see there's a bunch of trees. This is a tree here. This is a tree. We see more trees as well. Here's a tree. This is a tree. Here's another tree. And so it kind of creates a forest, a bunch of trees. And it looks like there's these creatures that are coming out, because we have here a peacock, and then we have all of this, which is also escaping out into the world. A very interesting image, I think. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I think it's a very intriguing, colorful picture that I like. But that's pretty much all we're going to talk about for today. So we talked about 5 different images. We talked about this really weird thing. Don't know what it is. Colors. We talked about this little girl and this tiny little house. Very small house. We talked about this lamb with some packages. Some weird packages there. We also looked at this gray bedroom with some interesting colors. Well, not really interesting. Without colors. And then we looked at this very strange, colorful peacock with the setting sun. That's this. This is the setting sun. But this is the end of an episode of Image Talk. I hope that you enjoyed this video and maybe learned a couple of new words. Remember, all of the transcripts are on benslanguagelab.com if you need. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.